Hello friends, welcome back to my channel Mukesh English, and this is Mukesh Soni. Friends, in this video we are going to solve the model question paper of first semester BCom General English SEP syllabus under Bengaluru City University. And let me remind you, I have already done the videos of the summary of all the first semester BCom General English, all the 7 lessons. You can watch all the 7 lessons summary in single video, and the link of that video is in the description. As well as you can also watch the links of the grammar, which I have already done it. So that will definitely help you to go through the complete syllabus. Now, without much delay, let's go through the model question paper of first semester BCom BCU General English. Before we go through the model question paper, let's have a glance at the question paper pattern. The duration of the examination will be 3 hours, and maximum marks 80. Section A consists the questions from the 7 lessons, which has the weightage for 50 marks. Here you'll be having 3 types of questions: 2 marks, 5 questions, 5 marks, 4 questions, and 10 marks, 2 questions. That is for 50 marks. 30 marks, you have here grammar, comprehension passage 5 marks, tenses 5 marks, synonym 1 mark, antonym 1 mark, prefix suffix 2 marks, homophones 1 mark, then framing the questions to get the underlined word as an answer 3 marks, question tags 2 marks, and questions on the verbal and the non-verbal communication skills 5 marks, and another question writing a dialogue or writing a conversation 5 marks. So this is a blueprint of your question paper, and based on this we have model question paper from the textbook. So I am going to solve the model question paper which is given in your general English textbook prescribed by the BCU Bengaluru City University. So let's begin it. So section A, that consists literary components, your 7 lessons questions, 50 marks weightage. Under this, you have the part 1, 2 marks questions. Out of 7 questions, you are going to attempt 5 questions, 2 marks each. Question number 1, Channa was Siddhartha's minister, true or false? It's false, because Channa was Siddhartha's charioteer, not his minister. He accompanied Siddhartha on his journeys outside the palace and explained the realities of life to him. Question number 2, what does the speaker observe as they walk through the streets of London? The speaker observes a grim and oppressive atmosphere as they walk through the streets of London. They see the signs of suffering and despair, such as the marks of weakness and the marks of woe on people's faces. Question number 3 from the model question paper for 2 marks. Why did Michelangelo initially refuse to paint the fresco of the Sistine Chapel? Michelangelo initially refused to paint the frescoes of the Sistine Chapel because he considered himself primarily a sculptor, not a painter. He was also concerned about the challenge and the complexity of the project because he felt unqualified for such a large-scale painting task. Which horse wins the final race that Paul predicts? It is Daffodil. The name of the horse is here Daffodil. What does Captain Torres represent to the barber? Captain Torres represents the oppressive regime and the fear of violent retribution. He symbolizes the threat of political violence and the moral dilemma faced by those living under such a regime. Sixth question we have here. What term does Antony repeatedly use to describe Brutus? Honorable. He repeatedly describes Brutus as honorable. Seventh question. Mention any one solution proposed by Vandana Shiva to address the issues in the current food system. She says one is here the promotion of organic farming. One solution she has proposed here, promotion of organic farming. So like this, you have here 7 questions, and out of those 7 questions, you need to select only 5 questions. So now you have got here 10 marks. Now we are moving towards 20 marks. That means to say 5 marks, 4 questions. Out of 6 questions, you are going to opt here 4. I'm sorry, there's a mistake here. It is not 2, it is 4 into 5, 20. Write a note on what Siddhartha encountered one day. One day, Siddhartha, along with his charioteer Channa, ventured outside the palace and encountered the stark realities of human suffering. As they traveled, they witnessed the scenes of joy, business, and piety. Soon Siddhartha came across a man who was suffering from deadly plague. This man, within this man, writhing in pain, he was begging for help, and Siddhartha was moved by the compassion and he tried to comfort him. Channa explained that the man's condition was caused by sickness that affects all humans, which symbolized the inevitable suffering and death that all the people have to face. Siddhartha was deeply shaken by the realization that sickness, old age, and death they are universal, inescapable. As they continued, they saw a funeral procession where the body of a dead person was carried to be cremated. This one also shows that you cannot run away from death. The sight of the body being consumed by flames made Siddhartha reflect on the transient nature of life, temporary nature of life, and the inevitability of death. So this experience was really pivotal, important for Siddhartha because it awakened him to the harsh truths of human existence and began his quest for understanding the nature of suffering and the search for liberation from it. So that is the encounter he faced, the reality of life. Second question, in the poem London, how does how does William Black portray the palace and the church? In the poem London by William Black, the church is shown as corrupt and uncaring. Black writes about the blackening church, which means it has lost its purity and goodness. Instead of helping the poor and those in need, like child chimney sweepers, the church ignores their suffering. It is supposed to offer kindness and support, but William Black suggests it is a part of the problem, not the solution. Church has become a part of the problem, not the solution. The palace is also criticized in the poem as a symbol of oppression. William Black mentions like runs in blood down palace walls, which shows that the monarchy's actions cause suffering and even death for ordinary people. This could mean wars or the struggles caused by unfair rule. So both the church and the palace represent the powerful groups that fail to help and instead make life harder for the people of London. So that is the question number 2. Question number 3, 1 minute. How does Antony describe Caesar's ambition in contrast to Brutus' claims? In Act 3, Scene 2 of Julius Caesar, Antony challenges Brutus' claim that Caesar was ambitious. Brutus said Caesar wanted to become a dictator and rule Rome, but Antony argues that Caesar showed no signs of ambition. He points out that Caesar turned down the crown 3 times, which shows he was not power hungry. Antony also mentions that Caesar was kind and cared for the people, showing his compassion, not ambition. So by repeating that Brutus is honorable, Antony makes the crowd question Brutus' judgment and paints Caesar as a noble leader, making Brutus' argument look weak. Next question, analyze the character of the barber in the story. Just let her, that's all. So in just leather, that's all, the barber is a man torn between his duty as a professional and his desire for revenge. He's a skilled and a very conscious, or we can say conscientious barber. But when he was faced with the chance to kill Taurus, his enemy, he struggles with his morals. While Taurus is responsible for many deaths, the barber realizes that killing him would go against his values of professionalism and personal integrity. Despite his hatred for Taurus, the barber decides not to take the life of his enemy, choosing to stay true to his moral code and his duty as a barber, which shows his strength of character and commitment to doing what is right. So that is a character sketch of barber. So like this, the other characters will you may have a question, draft a brief character sketch of Taurus also. So be prepared. What are some of the negative impacts of industrial agriculture mentioned by Vandana Shiva? Vandana Shiva highlights some negative impacts of industrial agriculture. One is the loss of biodiversity. Second is soil degradation. Third is chemical dependency. You can pause the video and you can read the content. Loss of biodiversity, soil degradation, chemical dependency, then concentration of power, health risk, and farmer exploitation. So Vandana Shiva, she advocates for organic farming and seed sovereignty to promote sustainability, biodiversity, and better health. So now we have questions for 10 marks. So out of three questions, you need to attempt here, you need to answer, you need to select two questions, 10 into 2, 20. Question number one, you need to answer these questions in 2 to 3 pages. So these answers are the sample answers. You can elaborate these answers. How does William Black, depict the effects of industrialization on the people of London in the poem London? Number one, loss of freedom and control. William Black shows how industrialization has turned London into a controlled and oppressive place. He uses the word chartered to describe both the streets and the river Thames, suggesting that even natural and public spaces have been taken over by the industrial and commercial interest, leaving no space for freedom or individuality. Second effect we find here, suffering of the poor. The poem highlights how industrialization causes misery among the poor. The chimney sweeper's cry symbolizes the exploitation of child labor, where children are forced to work in dangerous conditions. The hapless soldier's sigh reflects the despair of people who are sent to fight wars for the powerful people, which shows the exploitation of the vulnerable. The next effect, mental and emotional oppression. William Black mentions mind-forced manacles, which shows how industrialization traps people mentally as well as physically. These manacles represent the way society's systems and expectations restrict people's thoughts, creating a cycle of despair and helplessness. Then, last effect, moral decay and corruption. The final stanza, the last stanza, points to the moral decay which is caused by the industrialization in the poem London. The youthful harlot's curse and marriage hears. These two expressions symbolize the destruction of innocence, love, and family values as greed and exploitation corrupt society. So William Black's London paints a bleak picture of the industrialization, emphasizing its harmful effects on people's lives and the natural world. Now the question number two for 10 marks. Examine the theme of materialistic greed in the story The Rocking Horse Winner. In Rocking Horse Winner, the materialistic greed is the central theme that drives the character and the plot. Here, first we find here Hester's greed, the mother's greed. The mother, Hester, is deeply dissatisfied with her life, constantly feeling she doesn't have enough. Despite having a family, a house, and comforts, she is consumed by the need for more money, which makes her emotionally distant from her children. Her greed poisons the atmosphere of the household, creating an environment where love and happiness are replaced by the pursuit of wealth. Second greed we find here Paul's desire for love. Paul, her son, becomes determined to win his mother's affection by providing her with the money which she craves. He believes that if he can make enough money, he will gain her love and approval. His obsession with wealth leads him to use his rocking horse to predict the winners of horse races, putting all his energy and focus into making money. Tragically, his desperate quest for approval eventually causes his physical and emotional breakdown, and finally, he dies. The hollow promise of wealth. Even when Paul succeeds and wins money, it does not bring the happiness of fulfillment which he really requires. His mother, though happy with the money, she still remains emotionally distant, showing that her greed will never be satisfied. So the story reveals that materialism, which when it is driven by greed, does not lead to genuine love or any connection or any happiness, but always only to it leads to emptiness and destruction. Next question. Okay. So, in this manner, we can say that the story Rocking Horse Winner highlights how the obsession with material wealth can consume individuals, create emotional voids, and lead to tragic consequences. Through Paul's efforts and the hollow satisfaction of Hester, the story critiques the false promises of materialism. So this is the second question for 10 marks. Third question, which is the last question because you have only three questions and out of three you need to opt two. How does the I'm sorry, you'll be having one more, I think so. How does a barber's internal conflict reflect the theme of morality and just and duty in the story Just Lather? That's it. That's all. In the story Just Lather, that's all, the barber faces a big internal conflict which shows the theme of morality and duty. The Captain Taurus is a cruel man who is responsible for many deaths, and the barber secretly supports the revolution. When Taurus comes into the shop for a shave, the barber has the chance to kill him, but he must decide whether to act on his desire for revenge or stick to his professional duty. So that's a conflict he faces here. So here's a moral dilemma. The barber wants to kill Taurus because of all the harm he has done, but he also knows that as a barber, it's his duty to treat his customers with care and respect. This puts him in a difficult situation where he must choose between personal feelings and doing his job properly, duty over revenge. As the barber shaves Taurus, he thinks about his responsibility to his profession. Even though he's angry and wants to hurt Taurus, he decides that his duty as a barber is more important than his feelings of revenge. He realizes that his job is to provide a peaceful service, not to act violently. Then, final decision. In the end, the barber chooses not to kill Taurus. He decides to follow his professional ethics and simply do his job. This shows that even when emotions are strong, it's important to stick to what is right and to act with morality. So, through this inner conflict, the story shows that sometimes doing the right thing is hard, especially when personal feelings get in the way. When the personal feelings get in the way, but it's important to stay true to one's principles and duties. So these were the questions for 50 marks, 2 marks, 5 marks, and 10 marks. So 50 marks questions we have solved here. Now we are moving to the second part of the question paper. There is a language component, means to say grammar, which has the weightage for 30 marks. So friends, let me remind you, I have done a special video on all the lessons summary, all those 7 lessons summary in single video. That video's link you can see in the description, and also few grammatical items I have done that you can also see in the description box. Now let's move to the grammar 30 marks question, and under this you have here first question, comprehension passage. So I will not read the passage. It just a review here. You need to read the passage and you need to answer 5 questions set on the passage, and you need to answer those questions in a 1 line or 2 lines or in a word. So reading passage and answering the questions based on the passage will carry 5 marks, comprehension or reading comprehension. Next question we have here, tense. From the topic tense, you have 5 marks. So how the question will be given here? Uh, a passage with fill up the blanks will be given here. You need to find out the tense. Let's read the passage. Last summer, my family and I. So last summer, that shows here it's in the past tense. So we'll say here, I went on a vacation to the mountains. We planned the trip for months and finally the day arrived. Arrive means past tense, arrived, ed. We left early, past tense of leave, left early in the morning and drove, drove, drove for several hours before we reached our destination. The weather, past tense of be form, was, the weather was perfect, and we spent our days hiking, fishing, enjoying the beautiful scenery. In the evenings, we sat around a campfire and told stories. So how to answer in the examination? You just need to write like this. Go, the past tense of go, went, arrived, left, drove, and was. So this is how you need to answer the question for tenses. I've done a video on tenses. You can see the link in the description. Then next, do as directed. So this option, we have some multiple questions based on different themes. Number 1, synonym. You need to find out the synonym of the word amazing. So obviously drab cannot be there. Incredible is the synonym of amazing. So like this, any word will be given, and out of the 2 options, you need to select one 1 mark question. Then antonym. Synonym means same meaning. Antonym means opposite. Opposite meaning. So delicious opposite cannot be delightful. It could be unsavory. Unsavory. So unsavory is the right answer. 1 mark each. 1 mark synonym. 1 mark antonym. Next question we have here. Now we have here, you need to fill up the blanks with the suitable affixes. Affixes means prefix or suffix. So we need to read the passage properly. The new policy introduced by the government aims to, we can't say discourage young entrepreneurs. We have to say encourage. So what is the prefix here? Encourage, en, to start their business. It provides finance support. It becomes a financial, ial, suffix. So here prefix, here suffix. So answer here like this: encourage, financial, prefix and affix. Sorry, affix means prefix and suffix. Then next question we have a homophone. Homophone means to say different spelling but same pronunciation. R-I-T-E, right. So what is the same word with the same what is the word with the same pronunciation? R-I-G-S-T. So you need to remember, you need to just think over it. The word which has different meaning but it has the same pronunciation, and different meaning and different spelling. I'm sorry. Yeah, different meaning and different spelling but same pronunciation, that means homophone. So prefix, suffix, antonym, synonym, 1 mark each. Prefix, suffix, 1 each. Then homophones, 1 mark. That comes under do as directed. In continuation with this section, Now we need to answer the question's underlined word. We need to frame a question to get the underlined word as an answer. That's called WH question. So I have done a special video on questioning. You can see the link in the description box. Rajneesh will bake the cake tomorrow. So what the answer? What will Rajneesh do tomorrow? What will Rajneesh do tomorrow? So I have to form WH question to get this as an answer. Second question, this is quite complicated question. Two-time Olympic medalist PV Sindhu and four-time Olympian Sharat Kamal were the flag bearers. So it can have the two different answers. Uh, who were the two-time Olympic medalist flag bearers of India at 2024 Paris Olympics? That could be one answer. Or who were the flag bearers? We can say who are the flag bearers. Okay, so this is the answer. I think I've not given you a complete answer here. So we can say who are the two-time Olympic medalist flag bearers? That could also be the answer. There's one more question. The men pulled the animal out using ropes. Using ropes means in what manner? So we'll say how. How did the men pull the animal out? See, if you're using did here, you can't use ed here. Many students they use ed along with did. They get 0 marks. How did the men pull the animal out? To get this question answer, we have to frame questioning. So it's a reverse engineering. With answer, you need to frame the question. So questioning 3 marks. Now you have another this very important section here, questioning. WS question 3 marks. Then you have 2 questions for question tags. Amy's father is a pilot. So remember, when you frame question tag, if the helping verb is without not, the question tag should be positive. Sorry, question tag should be negative. See here, is a pilot without not. So in the question tag, it should be is not, isn't he? Amy's father, he, isn't he? If it's in the negative, cannot, it's in the negative, then it will be in the positive. Can they refers to many youngsters. So Amy's father is a pilot, isn't he? Many youngsters cannot, can they? So the questioning has a weightage for 5 marks. I have done a video on this. You can see the link in the description. Now we are moving to the next segment of your question paper, the last segment of your question paper. That is here questions from the communication skills, verbal and non-verbal communication. Here you have 5 compulsory questions, and I have done a very special video on this communication skills. You can see the link in the description box. And if you go through that communication skills video, I bet you can answer any questions based on that topic. So here from this question paper, define communication, the meaning of communication. Communication is a process by which people create and share information with one another in order to reach a common understanding. Give the difference between interpersonal and intrapersonal communication. Interpersonal communication involves the exchange of information between two or more people, focusing on interactions and relationships. Intrapersonal communication occurs within an individual, involving self reflection, internal dialogue, and personal thoughts. Interpersonal between two or the three people. Intrapersonal among ourselves. Sometimes we talk with us, right? Like a soliloquy. Third question we have here, what is kinesics or kinesics? Kinesics is the study of body language and nonverbal communication, which includes gestures, eye contact, facial expression, body language. It explores how these physical cues convey message and emotions in communication. Define proxemics. Proxemics is the study of personal space, how people use and perceive physical distance in interactions. Means to say how far we stand with each other when we are talking, the distance we maintain. It examines how spatial relationships affect communication behavior, like it affects so many things: culture, norms, social context. Then, what are the 2 types of communication? Verbal and written communication. So these are the 5 questions from communication skills. So watch my video on this topic. Sorry, I forgot to mention here. There's one more last question, that is the dialogue writing, where you need to draft a dialogue on a given situation. So there's a situation is here. Write a conversation between a mother and a daughter where the mother tries to convince a daughter about the benefits of homemade food. So here the conversation writing is for 5 marks, and you can go through the dialogues. It will differ, right? So when you write the dialogues, keep in the mind that it could be quite informal, plus the usage of punctuation plays very important role. And you can write about 6 to 8 dialogues between the two persons, because it's only for 5 marks. So this is how communication skills and the dialogue writing come at the end of the question paper. Question paper ends here. So just a re-glance, you can have a look at the syllabus. You have 7 lessons, and you have those um, six important questions are here. So friends, this is how I have tried to solve the question paper of model question paper of first semester BCom General English under first semester BCom General English under Bangalore City University. And I hope this video will definitely help you to get the best marks, as well as to get an idea that how the question paper will appear, because you're writing for the very first time and you don't have many resources. So please do subscribe the channel, and also look into description box. I already done the videos on all the lessons summary. One single video is done which consists all the 7 lessons, and the grammar also I've done. You can see, go through the description, you'll get all the videos links. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I wish you very good luck for the examination. Thank you once again.